You have to always slide in their vitamins, hidden in a piece of cake. So I saw this cool story about how we made women to start smoking within the subject of manipulation and propaganda, and I wanted to share with you so we can learn some valuable lessons and become more aware of controlling tactics. If you're interested about manipulation, stay tuned.
We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by a man we have never heard of. These are the words of a man named Edward Bernays, a man you probably never heard of. In short, he is the man who invented modern marketing. Before him, advertising was simple. When advertising a car, the seller talked about the characteristics of the car, the speed, reliability, efficiency, and so on, and did not brainwash the young people of what a great man you become when you drive Aston Martin. No one has even thought that it's possible to manipulate the kids so that they manipulate their parents.
This is so obvious because most people make decisions based on their emotions and then use rations to justify those decisions. With the world becoming even more so global for every day, it doesn't suffice to just tell about how good your product is and what kind of benefits they will get on a rational level. You have to entice people to even screen your product to get their time. So it's not always the best product that wins the heart of the purchaser. It's always the one that is packaged in a way that resonates with their emotions. Of course, eventually you have to deliver on your promises. But even here on YouTube, you have to shock people into clicking on your videos, which is a necessary evil, before you can teach them something valuable.
After the First World War, many women started getting independent, working like the man, and some started to smoke. But smoking was not popular among women, and it was considered something that only men do. That's when the American tobacco industry hired Edward Bernays to get the women to smoke. Bernays understood that when you talk about the characteristics of the product, people often think with their mind and make a rational decision. But when you target their emotions, they make irrational decisions.
This is the core to marketing and the things that I've been talking about in previous videos. We live in an era of emotionality. People want to feel something fuzzy and warm within before they can direct their focus into what that message really means. And even then, if emotions are very strong, you can blind the person into missing the real point, into missing the truth behind, which is the way propaganda works. One thing is very crucial here. There's a difference between how masculinity and femininity interprets emotions. I'm saying masculinity and femininity because nowadays a lot of men are acting out of femininity. As pointed out before, we live in an era of emotionality, and supposedly more rational males are more and more becoming the followers of femininity. A conventional masculine male prefers rational reasoning before emotionality, and as men become sissified, they act like females. As you see in this video, the type of manipulation is used to make women to smoke more is the same type of manipulation that is required today to sell something to many males.
So he started advertising cigarettes as a sign of women's liberalization. He took advantage of the feminist movement. He hired the women and organized rallies where these women had to smoke. They would say, "Woman, light another torch of freedom." The media quickly spread the word and smoking became the symbol of freedom for women.
Torch of freedom, way to go! You will smoke a cigarette, you work as hard as a man, you live a very labor-heavy lifestyle. What is the consequence, you ask? The older days knocking on your door, a little bit too soon than it used to.
But Bernays did not stop there. He started advertising that on newspapers, radios, and everywhere else. This strategy might seem too simple to work, but over the next few decades, 1/3 of American women started to smoke, which was heaven for the American tobacco industry.
This is a great lesson here to understand what is happening today in the world in general. We see the tipping of the power in politics that is catered to those who are voting, to those who are consuming. Who are those, you may ask? You know the answer. A vast majority of spending in Western world is controlled by females. So womaninity and corporatism go hand in hand. To my girls here watching these videos, understand that there's nothing just for the sake of it in this world. If you're getting something, you are paying with another thing. And what that thing is and what you are prioritizing is up to you to define. Ask yourself, what is the agenda behind? What is it that I'm missing out? There's always a financial agenda behind any politics or marketing.
That's how propaganda became the foundation of modern marketing. But of course, the most successful companies are the ones that you do not even suspect. For some reason, we believe that everyone should use social media, drink Coca-Cola, or driving a Ferrari is a sign of success. According to Bernays, there are 3 steps to effective propaganda. First, massive repetition. Advertise everywhere for as long as possible.
Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Apple, these products and services are so recognizable that you don't even have to market them anymore. But they keep doing that in order to brand, imprint those images, those logotypes into the minds of people and new upcoming generations, converting it into becoming a part of the collective DNA.
It's important to take as much space as possible in your mind. That's why you don't have to look for propaganda. It's already discussed by the people around you.
You see these debates between who likes Apple products or Samsung products more. Those companies don't even have to market them. The fanboys are already doing that. This is how powerful propaganda is.
The second step is to convince you that you are a smart, intelligent person who makes decisions independently. Because the moment you realize that someone else is pushing you to do something, you will do otherwise. Brainwash people that they know what's the right thing.
This is the power of real persuasion. You make people to think that the decision they made was solely based on their own agenda, on their own beliefs, on their own wishes and ambitions. The moment someone feels pressured in any way, mentally, physically, is the moment that you will get a hard pushback. And as the third law of Newton goes, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And truth be told, you will end up losing more than gaining, because at the end of the day you invested some energy without any results. This is where real power comes from. Having people to do things the way you wish for, and at the same time thinking that they were driven by their own opinions.
The final step is emotional association. Apple associates their product always with the family, happiness, success. So owning an Apple product means you are cool, you are catching up with the world and you are successful. That's why most people will not realize that they're under manipulation and will keep making people on the other side of the world just richer. They will keep thinking that the gadget they own is the best in the world and worth every penny they paid for it, or the clothes they wear are made from materials that are not even from Earth.
These things become so deeply ingrained in our minds that we don't even think, we act instinctively. It's like the second you wake up, you wipe off your eyes and throw your hand on a pack of cigarettes without even watching. It becomes a habit. And the scary thing is, if you remove that same thing from their lives, a product, a routine, a habit, something else, it's like they lose the part of themselves, a type of identification. The ego is invested so much that they cannot live their lives without having it.
The first step to getting out of this manipulation is to stop thinking and doing what everyone else does. Just because all of your friends have that doesn't mean you should buy one as well. But it's really difficult to keep yourself away from this propaganda, because today in the 21st century, propaganda is at its peak.
As the emotionality in the world rises, we become more and more dependent on social proof, social acceptability. If you don't have any Instagram account, if you don't have Snapchat, you will be seen as a lame person. You will be seen as someone who is out of touch from this world. You will be seen as a relic. So as everyone thinks alike, the power gets concentrated at the hands of very few people.
Since we all use internet and every website you visit gathers data about you, especially social media websites, even your private information is shared with giant corporations so that they manipulate you in ways that you don't even realize.
The best thing you can do is Distance yourself from mainstream media, social media, and focus on your inner self. Find the motivation, the passion, what you can bring out to this world from yourself. Don't get it twisted. Manipulation, power is just a tool. It's your intentions that dictate the morality of the consequences. You can manipulate people for good purposes, and as you gain more power in life, you should do it, because most often than not, the majority, the masses, don't know what they need. They only know what they want. And if you want to be a virtuous person, you have to always slide in their vitamins hidden in a piece of cake and make them eat without even knowing it. If you want to know more about the power of manipulation, I suggest you to watch this video. What do you do to avoid the propaganda? Tell me in the comments. But for now, Hossein out.